fofo. This for the fofo. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them ghosts. All from the fofo and let's go. Hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Palmerton and Valley. We from the fofo chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcon. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewell got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin', and they really doubt it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and Connie I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the fofo. This for the fofo. This for the fofo.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back as we get ready for another edition of the 440 Sports Show. My name is Sam Torres, and we are live here on location at the Crow's Nest. Thank you in a very big way to Sposito Insurance, who sponsors the show and make sure that we can do this every single week. Make sure you come down here to the Crow's Nest. Loaded potato soup, stromboli, 12-piece shrimp and fries, country fried chicken with mashed potatoes. And if you don't want any of that, anything you get on the menu here is going to be tremendous. Trust me, you can trust me when it comes to food. I have never had a bad meal here at the Crow's Nest. Hard to believe we are heading into week 5 already here in this season. Halfway through, some teams, I know I've been saying it since week 2, some teams are off and running. Some teams have already figured out what they need to get done. I can tell you tonight, our player of the week this week is on one of those teams that has figured out, bounced back, and figured out who they are again. Let's bring up his stats real quick, and we will introduce to the show our week 4 player of the week, Justin Britton. Come on over to the show, Justin Britton. And that's right, everybody. If you want to take a look at these stats, we've had PV players on the show in the past. But I don't know that if you would have told me at the beginning of the season my player of the week was going to have 341 yards passing, I would have told you were absolutely crazy. What was it like going out there and putting wings on the pigskin?
I mean, it was kind of natural, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We came in the week knowing we're going to throw the ball a lot, going to run with Kaysen. Just about it.
Yeah, so, you guys, obviously throwing the ball more this year than I think in a very, very long time. It's always been a very run-heavy offense out there in PV. You're in your sophomore year, part of this new offense. At what point did you guys realize, or you in particular realize, that you guys were really going to start passing the ball?
Probably week 2 after we completely changed. So first week, we were more of a tighter offense. Then second week, we learned how to spread it out, and this worked really well against LeBray, so we just kept in our playbook.
Yeah, and it certainly worked well against LeBray, and I would say it worked pretty well last week as well. 341 yards, and you've got some guys on your team that when you throw to them have the ability to make plays. Namely, one of the guys we've had on the show before, Jace Folkman, seems to make some big plays. What's it like having a target like that?
I mean, it's just easy throwing to him, really. He just gets separation. I mean, half the time he's wide open, so I love throwing to him.
Yeah, I mean, it makes the game a whole lot more fun.
It makes it a whole lot simpler, yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously playing quarterback on offense, what do you do on the defensive side?
I'm a safety.
You're a safety. So, both sides of the ball, you are the last man, who's in charge of it. Yep. The safety's got to keep you out of the end zone, and quarterback's putting you in the end zone. Which side do you like more?
I mean, it's pretty natural, I guess, quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the quarterback's the one that gets
it
gets all the love, right? But it also gets all the hate sometimes too, right?
That is true.
So, when you came into, this sophomore year after freshman year, what were some things you worked on? You wanted to make sure you kind of sharpened and honed.
Definitely reading coverages. I'm still working on it, but that's probably one of my main things I was looking at.
So, you obviously you like to run the ball as well.
Yeah.
You guys have the ability to run the ball. When did passing really? When did you figure out that you're really a passer?
Probably week 2.
Week 2
After
this
we
year.
got that 2 passing touchdowns.
Yeah,
I don't know how many yards I had that game, though.
a lot.
A lot.
A lot.
I'm
That's
not
what I
really
can tell
sure.
you. Yeah. So, this year, not only did the team just figure out they're going to be a passer, that's when you found out as well.
Yeah.
So you're a multi-sport athlete, which it seems to be normal, especially when you get into that, Division 5, 6, and 7. You play basketball, you play baseball. With the other 2 sports, and you're pretty good at basketball. We'll talk
Yeah.
about that here in a little bit. But with those other 2 sports, how do you think that kind of helps you on the football field?
Basketball definitely helps with footwork, obviously. Keeping your base while throwing the ball. Baseball definitely focusing on like concentration and persistence.
Yeah, and that's we got a funny story about baseball. After I had announced that Justin Britton was going to be our player of the week this week, my message box gets flooded with this nickname, Oven Mitt Britt.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? How did that come to be?
It came to be when we went to Cooperstown for our baseball tournament. One of my friends we found an oven mitt in our apartment, and I was joking around with my friends like, dude, I'm gonna wear this as a sliding mitt, like making fun of sliding mitts, because I don't think there's really a need for them. So I just started wearing it, and it was just funny.
Yeah, and it just stuck. Oven
Yeah.
Mitt Britt. I've heard it a couple times throughout the year, but that's a great story. Basketball, obviously, you are the school record holder in 3-pointers for PV, and you do that as a freshman, so you're not leaving yourself a whole lot of room to grow, I guess.
Yeah.
But you could just pad those stats. But being an athlete in general, you come from a pretty darn athletic family.
Oh yeah.
So who are some of the guys that maybe we've talked about that people would know?
Definitely Grant Hitchcock going on that run 3 years ago.
Yeah, 3 years
3
ago.
years ago, deep in the playoffs. Lucas Hitchcock and my brother Tyler.
Tyler, the Iron Giant. That's
Giant.
what my nickname for him. I was going to give you one, but you came ready with one. Oven Mitt Britt. I can't get better than that. So a lot of talent out there. We joked a little bit before the show, man. Like, what do these Thanksgiving Day basketball games look like?
Very aggressive. Very aggressive.
So, let's talk a little bit more about that game against Matthews. You guys go out there. Obviously, everything is going right. What are you doing? Sometimes it's easy to kind of lose your focus in a game where everything is going right. What do you do to stay zoned in? Whether it's offensively or defensively as a team.
Offensively, just talking to Crossan, let me know what I did wrong and right, trying to fix stuff throughout the game.
Yeah. Now, you guys are in the NAC conference. Obviously, there's some big-time teams. Everybody's getting, pumped up for this one. What are some things you're looking to make sure you get accomplished this year as you guys head throughout the rest of the schedule?
Just trying to make the playoffs, make our 12-team playoffs.
And that's a great segue, I think, is when you talk about the playoffs. Coming in last year as a freshman and now coming in as a sophomore after a very strong senior class graduates last year. What was it like pressure-wise for you going into this PV Lakers? I don't think people realize how much football truly is a religion out there in Andover. What was it like for you pressure-wise?
Obviously there's a lot of pressure because last season we probably one of the better seasons in PV history, so we had to live up to it. So just trying to make a name.
And there's a lot of things you do well. You talked about reading coverages.
Yeah.
How about physically anything you're trying to get better at, whether it's arm strength, speed, any of that?
Definitely speed.
Speed?
That's probably a little bit lack there.
Is Coach Croston somewhere laughing about that right now?
I know he's laughing right now. I know it.
So, Justin, when it comes to football and I guess sports in general, but we're going to kind of stick with football here, what is your favorite part about the game?
My favorite part of the game is really just seeing everyone succeed, just winning games.
Yeah, the other thing I ask a lot of people is, especially quarterbacks, everybody has some guys they look to, whether it's an immediate high school guy, a college guy, an NFL guy. Who's somebody that you look to for inspiration or, heck, even at times to imitate?
To imitate?
Yeah.
Probably Grant, if I'm being honest.
Listen, that's not a bad answer. That's not a bad answer. Grant Hitchcock, I'm not going to lie. He might be the greatest high school football player I've ever seen. So if you're trying to imitate that guy, I mean, that's a pretty high standard. Mm-hmm. But I think you've got him by a couple inches.
What, height-wise?
Height-wise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's it mean to you to be a PV Laker?
Just trying to win for the school, continue our great football program.
Yeah,
that's what I think about.
How would you, there's a lot of growth happening in this. You guys are in a period of transition. You lost the guys last year. You guys are now the new Lakers, right? The new look Lakers. But there's a junior high team, there's a youth team out there that are building. So you guys are trying to make sure that this stuff keeps going for the future. What are some things you would tell to the younger guys, whether they want to be a quarterback or they just want to be successful as a Laker?
Just get in the weight room, play football. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, man, I'll tell you what, those answers, that's dead on. You're absolutely right.
Stick with it.
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Get in the weight room and stick with it, because one thing PV is tough. Nobody wants to meet a Laker in the hole or in the lane. That's for sure. You guys have a lot of great games coming up this week. What's something you're focused on for this week?
Something I'm focused on for this week.
Offensively or defensively? You get to pick.
Defensively, definitely breaking down and making tackles. I struggled with that last week.
Oh, imagine that. A quarterback who isn't tackling. Yeah. I'm just completely kidding with you. But no, it's going to be a great week. It was really a blast. Again, I'll tell you what. It's been such a difference this year that Coach Crossan, I'm sure he'll laugh when he hears this. I had to call him to verify that I wasn't reading these stats wrong, because I don't think I saw 341 yards passing in Week 10 cumulatively last year, but you guys really got the job done this year. So, it's been an absolute blast watching you. And, I think this was a year that, and I'm not saying anything I think that you hadn't heard, but this was a year I think people were wondering who PV was going to be, right?
I agree.
People talked about rebuild. I don't think you have to rebuild when you've got
we got
reloads.
Those guys right in the back.
That's right.
They're right there.
That's right, man. So, best of luck for the rest of the year. I'm sure you guys are going to, do it the PV Laker way. You guys got Chad and George and, the whole crew out there. I call them the Zoo Crew, man. Those guys are the best calling those games and keeping you guys going. But, this week you reign supreme here in the county as our Week 4 Player of the Week. Congratulations,
Thank
Justin
you.
Britton.
As Comco celebrated 70 years in 2022, we have much to be thankful for. We are proud of the Comco culture as we serve our customers with Comco Care with our premier customer service, quality parts, and on-time delivery. The partnerships we have with our customers and our community are second to none. We thank you for your continued support. We are proud to be part of this community and will continue to offer great jobs for great people.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at MyersFamilyINS.com or find us on Facebook.
Your culinary adventure awaits at Legends Food and Drink. Experience a welcoming ambiance while you explore our appetizing menu featuring over 20 meals under $20 and over 30 lunches for $12 or less. Our private dining room seat between 10 and 20 at no additional cost. And don't forget our spacious 35-seat bar for your favorite sporting event. Book your special occasion in our elegant banquet room that seats up to 150 comfortably. Legends Food and Drink, a taste you'll remember. Market Street and Route 224 in Boardman.
All right, everybody, welcome back here as we get ready to go through some of the games last week. We just got done with our interview with PV's own Justin Britton. As I said, I'm going to bring back up his stats. It was truly an incredible outing for that young man. I mean, 341 yards passing, 4 touchdowns for this PV Laker quarterback. And, again, this is a new-look Lakers. They have come out here. If you've looked at PV in the past, they end the year last year and the year before with the first and second leading rushers in the county. Those guys graduate. They're on to bigger things now, as both of them playing at Allegheny College. And it was time for guys to step up. And, I think it would have been very easy to just kind of fall back into that old PV Laker way. We're going to run the ball. But they made the change. Coach Croston saw that they had some talent, and, you've got a big 6'3" quarterback with an absolute cannon on his shoulder sitting there in the midst, and sometimes you got to throw the ball. And this year you've got guys like Jace Folkman and Sean Croston who are reaping the benefits. Both of those guys, we're going to talk about them when we get to the county leaders. It's Case and Bailey out of the backfield for this Lakers team has found the holes. You can't guard both the run and the pass, and whatever you're guarding, they're putting the ball elsewhere. And that's why the PV Lakers, after a tough week 1 loss to what I feel is a very, very good team in Mineral Ridge. Mineral Ridge has continued to show every week since that's a quality team. But the Lakers have fallen right back into that Laker standard. They go out there, win the game early, get it done, and head on and get ready for next week. Let's talk about some of the finals from last week. We'll start off here with Lakeside. Lakeside, they're going to start off as we head into the midway point here, still looking for their first win in the year. 0-4 as they fall to the Harvey Red Raiders, 19-61. Harvey moves up to 2-2. Harvey has arguably the best running back in the state, if not one of the best running backs in the country, in Sean Alston. He doesn't just play running back for them. In this game, you saw them pushing him over to defensive back at times, mirroring everything Terry Brown for the Lakeside Dragons. Everywhere Terry was, you would find Alston right on top of him to keep him out, and he was just as effective on defense as he was on offense. Lakeside's still looking for their win, and these points, you wouldn't believe it if you saw the stats that Lakeside was putting in. And when we talk about the stats leaders after we get done with these games, you're going to see what I'm talking about. They're putting up terrific numbers. They just haven't been able to kind of find it. The defense has struggled a little bit at times, and, with this Harvey Red Raider team offensively, they are a powerhouse. Now, they ran into a couple buzzsaws, including Eastlake North, who showed us the first game of the year that these guys are the real deal, and they're here to play. But Lakeside, they have to dust themselves off. They're heading back home this week. We'll talk about that in the Week 5 matchups, and they're going to have to, dig down deep and find that Dragon way, I guess, is what I would say. Speaking of a bounce-back game, how about the Edgewood Warriors? 34-0 as they take on Lutheran West Longhorns, and it's steak dinners all night over there for the Edgewood Warriors. The defense was stifling, and the offense was unstoppable. J.J. Dufour continues to show he is one of the best athletes in the area, not just running the ball but throwing the ball as well. He had about 231 yards passing in that game, along with 84 yards rushing. Dufour is a certified player for this Edgewood Warriors team, but you can't just pay attention to him. They've got other guys who have shown how much they can change the game, Josiah Pope, obviously one of our players of the week this year. Javen Pope in the backfield, who has solidified that run game for this Edgewood Warriors team. You've got Devin Sanchez, who has came out this year and showed to be a certified threat, a touchdown scoring threat. Can't forget about the Slim Reaper and Riley Baldwin. It's really easy to overlook the linemen that they've got out there. You've got Brock Foltz, you've got Mason Thor, Christian Brott. I know I'm forgetting other guys, but these are three of the upperclassmen who are really, really leading the way out there with, in some cases, these guys have 32, 33 varsity snaps already, and that experience has all come to show what this Edgewood Warriors team can do. I think a lot of people wrote them off last week when they took that tough loss against an elite level team in Girard. Edgewood's not going anywhere. 3-1. They bounce back big time, and it's horns down for the Edgewood Warriors. Conneaut Spartans, they have a tough night. I mean, there's no nice way to say this. They had a tough night in this one. They fall to West Geauga 42-0. West Geauga is a team, I think, even as somebody who's following high school football in this area, I have trouble trying to figure out who this West Geauga team truly is. 2-2, there's been times this year where they have looked excellent and dominant, and other times where they look completely beatable. Conneaut goes out there in this game, can't get into the end zone. The Wolverine defense just does a great job of keeping guys like Colby Stiltner and Isaiah Bowles in check. It doesn't sit well with Conneaut. I can tell you it's one of those games that Conneaut's got a real favorable matchup this week, and I think you're going to look to see the Spartans really, really take out the aggression from that loss in this week coming. St. John with an absolute heartbreaker. An absolute heartbreaking loss to the Crestline Bulldogs on Friday. 21-28. Interesting factoid about this game in particular. The Crestline Bulldogs did not lead once in this game until the final 45 seconds. St. John's offense, which has had trouble getting going in weeks past, got going early. Chase Newsom, big-time game. Anthony Benedict found his way with the passing game for the Heralds in this one, finding Anthony Severino on a 40-yard touchdown. When it got to the second half, Crestline had a young man by the name of Quentin Kapp, who was really just, a terrorist against this defense, or against the St. John defense. 3-4 guys trying to bring this young man down. His ability to break tackles, spin off tackles, and just continue to chug a lug forward made it very, very difficult for the Heralds in this one. Again, like I said, they lead the entire game, final 45 seconds. It's 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter that separated this one. And the Crestline Bulldogs moved to 2-2. The St. John Heralds moved to 1-3 with a big, very tough matchup coming up this week. The Grand Valley Mustangs, who had a wake-up call in week 3. They got brought right back down to earth. They call it a come to Jesus talk. In week 3, they bounced back in a huge way. In week 4, 68-8 against the Wyndham Bombers. And these are the scores that I anticipated seeing from this very, very talented Grand Valley team. J. Anthony Williams putting his mark on every aspect of this game. I think who's being overlooked for what he's doing for this team is Luke Giddings. Luke Giddings right now stands with 7 touchdowns for the Mustangs. Nate Stewart has thrown the ball very, very well. I think the biggest statement that the Grand Valley Mustangs made in this game was their defense. Their defense was for real. I think that was one of the questions that's been going around, in these first couple weeks is what is going on with this Grand Valley defense. They've struggled at times, right? But this one, they did not struggle at all with that 8-point coming in about the last 2 minutes of the fourth quarter when some of the younger guys were in. Those starters did not give up a single point. The PV Lakers, they win that one 65-35. That's what they do. The way they do it is what is changing. 65 points, 341 yards. What an outing for this Laker offense. Tyler Britton, Sean Croston, Jace Folkman, Kaysen Bailey, you name it, they've got playmakers. Everybody puts a stamp on this game. Everybody found a way to make the Lakers better. And this is where the Lakers want to be heading into conference play. Last year, if you remember, they took one loss to a very, very good Girard team and didn't look back ever after that. And I think the PV Lakers are trying to get that done again. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you right now, mark on your calendars, because Week 10 could have one of the biggest matchups that this county has ever seen. I mean, we have a potential, if everybody does what they need to do, of two teams meeting to decide not only conference championship, but playoff seeding, and honestly, who's going to be the best of the smaller teams here in Ashtabula County when the Pymatuning Valley Lakers take on the Grand Valley Mustangs. This year's Battle of the Valley has a lot more to it. You're not going to want to miss it. This next game is, I think, far and away the heartbreaker of the night. Geneva falls to Hawken 48-49. The Geneva offense did whatever they wanted, however they wanted, whenever they wanted. Bryce Pete, Caden Proy, Ricky DePetta, these guys all got the job done. The defense is where they struggled in this game. Hawkins' quarterback is talented. He is a big kid, 6'4", 6'5", big arm on his shoulder. He sees the ball well, and their passing game was elite in this game. I can't remember the last time Geneva gave up more than 30 points, let alone 49 points. And this game is decided in the last 10 seconds of the game. Hawken gets about a 20-yard passing touchdown. The game is now 47-48. They could have gone for the tie. They opt to go for the two-point conversion. They go into a passing play. They got a man open in the end zone, and that's the ball game. It was one of the, depending on what team you're pulling for here, it's either one of the greatest games you've ever seen or one of the most difficult heartbreaks you're going to have to endure. But this is a Hawken team that's 4-0 right now. They were number 3 in the state, heading into this game. I'd be interested to see where they rank right now. Geneva, they get shook up a little bit here, but I'm not too worried about this Eagles team. I think they're going to be just fine. It's going to be right back to action. They've got a big matchup this week, too, where they can kind of put the past in the past and show that the Eagles are still here. Jefferson has a tough night against the Orange Lions, 28-47, the final in that one. It was an interesting game. I picked the Jefferson Falcons to win this one in a really big way, and I guess it's more of a shout out to Orange for coming out and really proving me wrong by getting done everything they needed to get done. Their defense stood up against this very, very talented Jefferson offense, and Jefferson has another tough matchup this week. We're going to talk about it very, very soon. But I really think that they can change the narrative here in Week 5. So from Week 4, we move over to Week 5, and we'll talk about Lakeside 0-4 going against a 1-2 Orange team. This is a big game for Lakeside. We are at the midway point of the season. They have yet to get a win. This is a winnable game for the Lakeside Dragons. They're going to have to dig deep and find out what it means to be a Dragon. They need this win. If any team in the county needs a win this week, it's the Lakeside Dragons. And I'm sure that they know that. These players are locked in. It's going to be a great game. I'll be on the call on that one on Friday night. The Edgewood Warriors are going to be taking on the 2-2 West Geauga Wolverines. This is a game that I think you look at it, Edgewood should, in fact, be the favorite in this one. I think what they have to be very, very careful of is you can't overlook this West Geauga team. I think West Geauga has some talent. These guys are ready to play. Now, granted, they have to come here. They're going to have to come to Corlew, and Corlew is a different animal when you're playing at the Edgewood Warriors home stadium. But Edgewood, I think, as long as they keep their mind or their eye on the prize and keep their head in the game, I think you can look for Edgewood to move on to a 4-1 record here. Conneaut, this is what I said, their bounce-back game comes this week against the Lutheran West Longhorns. Lutheran West 0-4, still looking for their first win on the year. Conneaut, though, they've gotten their first win, so they can kind of change it as they head into their division and conference battles right here. Look for the Spartans to top the Longhorns this week. St. John and Pymatuning Valley. Pymatuning Valley is 3-1. St. John is 1-3. St. John has had some very, very close games where they've had great first half, great second half. They had one game where they were able to put everything together, and that was against the Beechwood Bison. PV, on the other hand, stumbles out of the gate angry because of that week 1, and now good luck when the Lakers are on the field, because every game is personal to them. They want to go out there and set the tone. The St. John Heralds have to travel to the Pymatuning Valley Lakers, and when you want to talk about crowd and atmosphere in Andover, the cowbells are ringing, the truck horns are sounding. It is a wild, wild place out there. So, be ready for this one. We'll have Chad and George on the call for this one. It should be a great, great game. Grand Valley, the 3-1 Grand Valley Mustangs. This is another test game as they're going to be taking on the Wilmington Greyhounds out of Pennsylvania. Wilmington is 3-1, and early in the season when I looked through their schedule, there were 2 games that I had kind of circled that were going to be very good barometers of what this Mustangs team could do this year. They had trouble with the first one in the McDonald Blue Devils. This is absolutely a redemption game for the Grand Valley Mustangs. Wilmington is a very, very talented team at 3-1 out of Pennsylvania, and Grand Valley is going to have to go out there and put together a game. Both offensively and defensively, they're going to have to make sure that they're making all the right moves in this one as they head into conference play. Geneva and Perry, as I said, Geneva was going to have a chance to redeem themselves. This is the big one right here. The Perry Pirates at 2-2. I think this is a game that Geneva has the ability, the skills to win. Perry is trying to recover from a midseason loss. Now, that doesn't mean that Perry is laying down, because they certainly are not laying down for anybody. But I think this game is going to be very, very interesting when you look at it. The run game of Geneva against the passing attack of Perry. Who's going to come out on top here? And then the final game on the docket is the Jefferson Falcons, who are 2-2, against the Harvey Red Raiders, who are 2-2. This is a game where Jefferson's defense is going to make or break the game against this Harvey offense. I think Jefferson's offense is going to be able to do the job that they need to do. I think between Webster and McClassic and Devin Salinas, who's one of the best wide receivers in the county, Mason Khalil as the quarterback, I think Jefferson is going to do just fine on offense. I think this comes down to, can the Falcons defense stop Sean Alston? He is incredible. When that young man has the ball in his hand, he changes the game. And the Jefferson Falcons have one of the more talented linebacking cores in the county. So that's where it's going to be. This game will be won or lost by the Jefferson Falcons defense, and you aren't going to want to miss 1 second of it. So those are the matchups that are coming this week. All right, everybody. Now we're going to get back to my favorite and, again, most controversial portion of the show. It's time for the stat leaders, the preamble that I always give before these. Our stats are provided to us by the programs themselves. So the stats that we are reporting are the ones that are reported to us. That's both offensively and defensively. Defensive stats have one caveat: the tackle total. The tackle total on this show is not the same that you may be seeing in your locker room. You get 1 point for a solo tackle. You get half of a point for a assisted tackle, 1 point for a TFL, 1 point for a sack. That number altogether makes your total tackle, and that's where that number comes from. So if you have any questions, you got to talk to your coach. I just use the numbers that I have. Without further ado, right, everybody, we will start this week as we always do with the passers. Our top passer in the county, as I said, Lakeside, who has struggled. They still haven't found that first win. They are certainly getting the points or getting the stats on offense, is J.J. Murphy, 782 yards for the Lakeside Dragons quarterback. He's got 9 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Now, keep in mind, this young man, offensive tackle last year. First-year quarterback this year, first year starting, and he's already thrown for 782 yards halfway through the season. Right behind him is J.J. Dufour, 757 yards, 11 touchdowns, 1 interception. He is, statistically speaking, the highest-rated quarterback in the county at the time of this show. He has been incredible, 59, 82, and don't forget, he is running the ball as well. This is a young man over in Edgewood. They've got themselves a quarterback. They've got themselves an athlete. Right behind him on his heels is the Pymatuning Valley's Justin Britton, 43 for 70. He's got 682 yards through 4 weeks of play. 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions for the Laker quarterback, and he has been getting the job done all 4 weeks heading into this one, which is good enough to put him at third. Colby Stiltner, 549 yards for him. Mason Khalil has 491 yards, 5 touchdowns, 1 interception. Grand Valley's Nate Stewart, 462 yards for him, 5 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. St. John's Anthony Benedict, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. And Geneva's Caden Proy with just 6 attempts on the pass this year. But again, folks, if you run the ball the way Geneva does, you don't have to throw the ball. And I wouldn't expect you to do it. Moving right along as we get done with the passers, let's talk about the rushing leaders. And this number is incredible. Through 4 games, Bryce Pete from Geneva High School, 52 carries, 712 yards rushing. It's unbelievable. Bryce Pete has been an absolute animal for the Eagles. 8 touchdowns for him. Right behind him is the Jefferson Falcons' Matt Webster. He's got 85 carries for 450 yards. He also has 8 touchdowns. Kaysen Bailey for the PV Lakers, 54 carries, 421 yards, 4 touchdowns. And this is in an offense that's throwing the ball a lot. He's still finding his yards and still getting in the end zone. J. Anthony Williams, 27 carries, 403 yards, 4 touchdowns. Conneaut's Isaiah Bowles, 55 carries, 342 yards with 4 touchdowns. Edgewood's Javen Pope, 51 carries. He's got 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. Another Geneva player in Caden Proy, 38 carries, 326 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns. And Caden Proy had a game against the Hawken Hawks. I'm telling you, he was incredible. Ricky DePetta, 22 carries, 246 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns. Luke Giddings from Grand Valley, 29 carries, 229 yards. He's got 7 touchdowns for the Mustangs. And then Edgewood's quarterback, J.J. Dufour, 43 carries. He's got 215 yards and 4 touchdowns for the Warriors. All right, moving right along here, we will go over to the pass catchers here in Ashtabula County. And a new man at the top, as we have a new leader for the first time all season. It's Pymatuning Valley's Jace Folkman with 18 receptions and 410 yards. He's got 5 touchdowns for that Laker offense. Right behind him is Devin Salinas, 22 receptions, 374 yards. He's got 6 touchdowns. Terry Brown, who only has 2 games worth of workout in this one, 15 receptions, 300 yards, 2 touchdowns. Josiah Pope, 17 catches for 287 yards. He's got 3 touchdowns. J. Anthony Williams, the running back, 8 catches, 280 yards, 2 touchdowns. Devin Sanchez, as I was talking about earlier with this Edgewood offense, 13 catches, 215 yards, 3 touchdowns, showing that he is a weapon as well. Sean Croston from PV, 19 catches, 184 yards, 4 touchdowns. Sean McClassic from Jefferson, he's got 16 catches, 159 yards, no touchdowns yet. Lakeside's Davion Gaines with 11 catches. He's got 136 yards. He's got 2 touchdowns. And I think that's the end of the list, or it's cutting me off. Oh, yep, there it is. Devontae Harris from Conneaut. He's got 10 catches, for 134 yards and no touchdowns as of yet. And we'll move right along to our tackle leaders, as I've explained ad nauseum what the numbers are and how we come up with these numbers. Our leader in tackles this week, PV's Sean Croston with 39 total tackles. Right behind him is Bryce Pete, 32.5 tackles. Ricky DePetta with 31 tackles, also of Geneva. Conneaut's Josh Sabo comes in next on the list at 29.5. Jefferson's Brody Dietrich with 27.5, and he is tied with Conneaut's Chetty Arcaro with 27.5. Lakeside's Tyree Anderson, big 6, not little, with 25. Mason Thor with 25, and Brady Vera from Conneaut with 24.5, and Grand Valley's Luke Giddings with 24.5 total tackles. Now we'll talk about our TFL leaders here in the county. And this list is growing because, as you know, if we have another couple guys grab, another, turn those 3s into 4s, the 3s will drop off the list because we've only got room for about 10 on these graphics. But leading the way is Sean Croston from PV. He's got 8 TFLs on the year. Chetty Arcaro right behind him with 7. Kaysen Bailey from PV. He's got 5. That's 13 tackles for loss from just the Lakers alone. Mason Thor with 5 TFLs himself. Max Smith from PV with 4. So make that 17 for the Lakers already. Corey Davis from the St. John Heralds. He's got 3. Christian Brott from Edgewood. He's got 3. Ben Griswold from Conneaut. He's got 3. Ashton Lampman from Grand Valley. He's got 3. And Geneva's Ricky DePetta with 3 tackles for loss. And from TFLs, we move over to the sack leaders here in the county. Leading the way is St. John's Carlo Fasano, Muscles Marinara, with 4 sacks. He is tied with Grand Valley's Luca Marmore. Excuse me. I'll get better at it. He'll be on the list quite a long time, I'm sure. Interesting about these 2 leaders in the sacks this year, both of them underclassmen, freshmen and sophomores. Behind them is a senior in Mason Thor with 3, and Jefferson's Brody Dietrich with 1.5. There are 12 other players in the county with at least 1 sack. And our final stat of the night, the interception leaders. Leading the way is J. Anthony Williams from Grand Valley. He's got 4 and an incredible pick 6 against this Wyndham offense last week. If you want to check out a big play, go back to the replay of the game available on ysnlive.com. Watch this young man pluck the ball out of the air, return it for like 65 yards, making everybody miss. It is really, really something to be seen. He leads the way with 4. Riley Baldwin over at Edgewood, he's got 2. He is tied with Devin Salinas from Jefferson. He's got 2. And Geneva's Ricky DePetta with 2. Ricky DePetta on, I'm pretty sure, every list we've had tonight on defense, for sure, as well as on a couple of the offensive ones as well. There are 14 players this year in the county with 1 interception, which is incredible. If you look at years past when, this was a list where, we've had years where there was only 5 or 6 guys that got 1 or 2. This year, guys are taking defense for real with, a total of 18 guys early in this season with at least 1 interception. That's going to do it for this week's show here live at the Crow's Nest. Make sure you guys come down here. Like I said, loaded potato soup, stromboli, which is fantastic. The shrimp baskets, the sliders, everything is phenomenal here. If you like chicken wings, you won't find them anywhere better than they do right here at the Crow's Nest. I want to send a huge shout out to the Detour family for allowing me to host this show here every single week. Also want to send a huge shout out to the Sposito family and Sposito Insurance for sponsoring this show so we can bring it to you live on location. Make sure you guys tune in. We've got a lot of other shows planned this week, including zone coverage this week, bringing it to Ashtabula. We're going to be hosting at St. John High School on Thursday. And then on Friday, the Lake Show 2.0 with George and Chad. That is a Pymatuning Valley Laker oriented show. These guys are going to have, football players, cross-country runners, volleyball players. If it's got Laker written on it, they're going to have it. Doing a phenomenal job. They've got their damn good play of the week, which has been really, really cool to see. A lot of great things going on right here in Ashtabula County. Make sure you tune in to YSN Live for all of your scores, your updates, and your stories. Go through some of... We'll go through some of these comments. Tony Williams, give my boy 85 carries. I bet you do. I bet you would love that. And then he talks about his natural position. I'll tell you what, it has been a fun year. We've had some athletes that have really, really showed out and showed their abilities this year, including J. Anthony Williams, more lovingly known as Jaws around the area. We got a big week this week. Let's see what is going to change this week. My hope is that every county team that's not playing another county team gets a win this week. So we'll see if we can't make that one come true. My name is Sam Torres. As always, today, tomorrow, and forever, this is for the 440.
This for the 440. This for the 440. For the city and the back roads, got a whole county full of them goats. All from the 440 and that hey, it's just for Beulah County. Yeah, right on your head like a bounty. Said I'm from Beulah, they know I'm from Beulah, so let me just go talk about my surroundings. Shout out them Eagles that's out in Geneva, them Lakers, oh yeah, that's Pymatuning Valley. We from the 440 chasing these goals. If you in the way, you get taken out proudly. And Jefferson soaring with Falcon. Said that you working, you ain't really working. You see that we working, our hands got a callus. Putting in reps till we moving some mountains. Edgewell got warriors, they won't allow it. Me, I bleed green and gold, they know defeating those dragons who run the whole city. You wildin', and they really bout it. And next we gon' go to Grand Valley. Work like a horse and don't show no remorse. So opponents keep coming, we stack them and pile them. Yeah, and Connie I flooded with Spartans. As soon as they pull up on game day, we park them. Cause we number one in that spot, ain't a bargain. Man, shout out St. John, they be ballin' like Harden. This for the 440. This for the 440.